And so, with regard to the CASIF Consortia grant application, it should I should step back and say that Mendocino County has participated in the North Bay North Coast Broadband Consortium for about 6 years, and they're 3-year grant cycles. So we have completed one grant cycle and are just submitting the final paperwork for the second grant cycle of 3 years and have applied for a third grant cycle of 3 years. The application is in, and the 4 counties of Napa, Sonoma, Mendocino, and Marin will receive word about that application in January or February by all indications. I think there's still some work to do to wrap up the current CASIF grant, which we just discussed in a meeting at 8:30. If anyone has any questions, the CASIF grant largely provides about $600,000 over 3 years spread across 4 counties, which comes to like $50,000 a year per county, if less, more like 37,000 per county per year. And that is done to supplement some of the planning work, to hire consultants to do some mapping, data mapping, and assorted tasks as the 4 elected supervisors that sit on the oversight committee meet quarterly and develop strategies to work collaboratively across the 4 counties. So are there any questions about the consortium?
No.
Not hearing any questions, I'll let you know that there is also under CASIF a local technical assistance grant that Mendocino County recently applied for and was granted funds. And Tony might want to speak to this, and we can have a back and forth.
Thank you, Jeff. I think the most important part here to communicate is with the LATA grant, the local agency technical assistance, is we applied for the full year, over 2 year, $500,000, and were awarded. That includes the 2 other jurisdictions that submitted with Mendocino County, that's City of Fort Bragg and City of Ukiah, for the Fort Bragg city limits and Ukiah city limits. So we are just now finishing routing and working on the MOU that we're going to have with the between Golden State Connect Authority, RCRC, and the contractors doing the work, Tilson Technologies and Utopia Fiber. That's getting routed now, and then we're going to start getting into the high and low level planning for the priority areas that Mendocino County has for our fiber infrastructure here, or rather lack thereof. That's what I have on the LATA grant. More to come on that one. That one will start. Right. The important part is that we've been awarded and that we're moving with it, and we'll have more to be talking about, certainly. I see there's a question from Katie.
Yes, I just want to see if I was on. When you say the fiber we don't have, is there any fiber?
We do not. We have copper, we have cable from, let's say, Comcast, and of course we have wireless providers that provide access, but we do not have fiber connectivity in Mendocino County.
Okay. And the other question is, the rumor is going around, maybe you know, that the AT&T is just going to pull the copper. And then what will there be? Or do you know anything about that?
That's the first I've heard of AT&T pulling their copper infrastructure. I would be surprised. Well, I suppose I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Right.
That does leave any existing, cable infrastructure that might be there. But, with the copper that's being provided, I know, primarily we're dealing with DSL. I mean, right. That's antiquated technology as it is.
But it works when there's a fire.
True. Yeah.
Or something else, because they usually keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any something that will always work.
Do you have anything regarding that, since I hadn't heard or read anything particularly regarding that. Do you have something that you can reference, maybe share with the group?
No,
Oh, this,
I should. I was going to
hearing
look
through
it
the
up and try to
grapevine?
find out, but I've heard it from two people who seem to know sort of about those things, but I haven't done my research. So
I
I'm
know
sorry,
that
I should have.
I know there's concerted effort by AT&T, and I don't know if this is related, but I figure I might comment on what I have kind of gleaned over the years. Is they're trying to move away from their copper infrastructure due to the maintenance costs associated. The operating cost for copper for AT&T is fairly high. And again, it's aged infrastructure at this point. So they're trying to pull it out as much as possible and moving to more, internet-based services. Of course, pulling that out in areas where that's the only internet-based service you have kind of defeats the purpose, cuts off our nose to spite our face. But I don't know if that's what was being referred to or not.
So I've heard this as well, and I followed up with AT&T, and they've told me they have no intention at present,
Yeah.
and it's somewhat regulated. We're not sure that the state would actually allow it. That said, a lot of the copper infrastructure has multiplexers, say pair gain, where several houses feed into one copper pair. They ran out of wire a long time ago. Those multiplexers are powered by batteries. The batteries are aging. So it's not quite, as time goes by, landlines aren't quite as reliable as they used to be. And we don't see AT&T investing in upgrading that infrastructure, providing the service that they provided historically. I know there's technology to allow keeping the analog circuit in the house, but using cell-based wireless to relay it back to a tower. And I could see AT&T wanting to go in that direction. And in fact, maybe it's an opportunity for a partnership. Maybe if that's going to happen at some point, maybe we want to be a county that goes first, because there may be an opportunity to trade removal of or deprecating the old copper backhaul with broadband service, because they could certainly provide 5G broadband for less than what it's costing to maintain legacy copper. So I think it's a discussion that needs to continue. But although I've heard rumors that AT&T is going to walk from the copper, I haven't seen anything concrete.
Thank you.
There
Thank
you go, Katie.
That was a good question, Katie. Thank you. And I knew that Tony and Supervisor Williams would have expansive answers, and I appreciate it.
I don't think we have that
there
much
are-
time today.
Gotcha. And so to wrap up on LADA, it should be added that there was $50 million available in funds statewide for the LADA program, and Mendocino County applied for $500,000, as did the city of Fort Bragg and the city of Ukiah, and all were granted their amounts, while the two cities might not have totaled the $500,000 in the request.
Yeah, City of Fort Bragg had requested roughly 480,000 and was awarded that. City of Ukiah requested significantly less than 311,000 and were awarded that.
Good. And then statewide, there has been $40 million allocated out of the $50 million fund, or 25 million has been allocated and 40 million has been applied for. And so I think that it is intended to be expended this year.